Hey guys, Leo here. In this video, we'll be looking at different sort of web server type of attacks, footprinting, as well as the main thing we'll be focusing upon using Metasploit. When I look at Metasploit is a software, or I can say it's a framework where I can use the software for performing different sort of penetration type of testing on maybe a mobile device or maybe on a desktop or machine. So the Metasploit framework has different sort of code, it has different sort of tools which I can use. It has different, if you see over, it has a lot of exploits. Exploits are the code that which will help me to break into a machine. Payload are the code which will run on the victim machine. Auxiliary, I can using Metasploit I can also perform maybe like a port scan. I can check whether an exploit will be working on a machine or not. For this session, I'll be using two machines, the attacker machine which I'm currently on, as well as the victim machine. We'll be using a very old exploit which is using it is a remote code execution of Java 7. So for this practical, one thing important is the victim machine should have a Java version which is less than GRE 7 update 6. So this practical can be done in two ways. It can be done using the console, or if I can even access it to the web-based UI. The console becomes much more easy and faster to perform this practical. If you're using the web-based UI, you need to log in and it takes time for it to load over there. There are basically multiple steps that you need to perform. First thing first, you need to select the exploit which you want to use. After you select the exploit, you need to specify the different options of the exploit, maybe the remote machines IP address, or maybe the local machines port number which you want to use. If need be, you can also specify a payload. Now payload, as I said, is the code which will run on the remote machine. Like for example, after I have exploited my machine, the victim machine, I may want a backdoor to be established that will connect that machine back to my machine. I can include that in my payload, maybe by doing a reverse TCP. uh, After I set the option, then after I set the payload, I need to execute the exploit. After execution of the exploit, my session will be established. I need to then interact with that machine using my session info. So first thing first, when I'm in the Metasploit Pro console, after it fully loads, it'll give me the MSF prompt. The MSF prompt, I can, if I want information of help, I can just type the help command, and I can see different sort of command which I can run over there. For example, when I'm talking about the exploit which I'm using is the GRE7 update 6 exploit. If I go to different sites like the CV details site, I can find out what is the CV number for the exploit. If I want to search for particular exploits, I can maybe give the search, and let's say if I give GRE7, what will come? Search Java 7, Java 1 7. Let's just search. I'll give the CV name 124681. Alright, I know this exploit is having this specific part. Exploit, auxiliaries, payloads are all directory based, means you have a subdirectory type of structure for it. Now I know that this exploit was found on 26th of August 2012. I know that is ranked, that is excellent, means this is a very uh, popular and very, it gives me a much better it's helping me to break into a system with a very high success rate. I can see description as Java 7 applet remote code execution. Now I need to use these exploits, as I use exploit multi. What is the same part? I'll type the same part down below. Java GRE 17 exec. Alright, after it is successful, it will enter the MSF exploit prompt where it is working under Java underscore GRE7 underscore exec, which is the exploit which I'm working with. If I want to view the options, I type show options. Alright, I know that in the show option it is having different variables. The first column is the variables, The second column is the current value set to the variables, and the third column specifies whether that variable is necessary or not. If I see SRV host is showing me as 0.0.00, meaning when I run this exploit, it is actually, if I see URI part, this exploit will actually create a web server which will be mapped to this because it is 0.0.00. This web server will be running on all of my interfaces of my attacking machine. SRV port also specifies that this web server will be running on port number 8080. I can specify the URI part. URI part is like, for example, a slash subdirectory over there. So like, for example, if I'm trying to hack into maybe my sibling's computer, I could tell him that, hey dude, this is the link, this is my personal web server on my network. I'm hosting free games in this free game folder over there. I can just give him this link over there. So let's say I'm just setting the options. Let's say I'll change the SR report to something else. 8084. Okay, SR report has been changed to 8084. I'll set the URI part to maybe free games. Okay. Exploit target, the payload is going to be a generic payload over there. If this payload does not work, then I can try with different sort of payloads over there. So let me do a show options again. I can see that my SR report has been changed to 8084. My URI part has been changed to free games. If you have an SSL certificate, you can also map the SSL certificate over here, and then the website, which the web server which will be created, will be having a HTTPS type of setting for it. uh, let's say I need to exploit it. I want to create it so that it runs as a job. If I see exploit dash h, alright, when I want to exploit minus h switch, I can use different help for the exploit command over there. So let's say I want to run this exploit in the context of a job. I'll type exploit and I'll type minus j. Alright, the moment I do exploit minus j, I can see that it started a server that is at http colon IP address colon port number slash the URI part. This address URL has to be visited by the victim machine. So I'll move to a victim machine. What it was, 24.80.84 192.168.0.24.80.84 slash free games. Suppose this is the link which you are given to your sibling. Sibling has typed the link in his browser and he has hit enter over there. HTTP. Alright, the moment you hit enter and you type the link over there, if I go back to the system, I can see in the console it is showing me that Java 7 applet remote code execution handling request has been received from IP address .26. It has sent an applet.jar file to that victim, and it has also sent some sort of staging data to the victim over there. Last, I can see that a session has been opened. A session is currently being maintained between .24 and .26. If I hit enter, if I want to see the sessions, I can type sessions command and it'll show me what are the different sessions which are running on my current machine. Same if I type jobs, job will show me the current different sort of jobs which are running on this attacking machine. I know that this session is having a session ID of 1, and I know it is connected to EH2 is the username of the victim's machine. I want to connect to the session, so I'll give the sessions keyword, I'll specify -1 -I, and I'll specify the ID of the session, that is 1. The moment I specify sessions -I and 1, the moment I specify sessions -I and 1, I am now thrown into the metapreter prompt over here. Metapreter is the I can interact directly with the system. Like, for example, if I get the help command, I can, let's say I can do this, I can find the sysinfo, that I know that this computer name is EH2, it is having Windows XP, and I'm using the Java type of exploit. Let's say I can do IP config, so I can see that on this machine, it is having an AMD type of Ethernet adapter. I can see what is the IP address of that machine over there. If that person had some sort of webcam connected, I could even record the webcam. I could live stream the webcam. So basically, I am getting into your house. I am able to see whatever is front of the webcam, provided webcam is on that machine over there. I can even record the uh, data which is being captured by the microphone. If I do maybe a PS command, I can see different sort of running processes. I can see different running processes with the different sort of process ID and the names over there. I can even upload uh, content to this victim machine. I can download content from the victim machine. I can even edit files, or I can view the content of files. For example, if I give a keyword of screenshot, I'm able to take a screenshot of machine and TSCHV. If I go to Metasploit folder, I will be able to see a screenshot that this is the victim machine over there. One thing to note is Metasploit is not just a Windows based program. It is more commonly in use if you are having Kali Linux. Metapredator comes inside of Kali Linux, or it comes inside of Backtrack, which is the older version of Kali Linux. So Metapredator can work in Linux, Unix, and it's also working in Windows over there. After I've connected to my session, let's say I want to quit the session, so I'll just type the keyword of quit over there, and I can see that Metapredator session 1 has closed, user has exited the MSF exploit. If I type jobs, I can see currently the jobs is still running. Let's say I will type jobs and -k to end the current executing jobs over there. So I know that currently there is no sort of jobs running over there. So if you could see, if you go to recollect, we had selected the exploit. We had selected Java GRE 7 1.7 exploit. We had set the options for it. We had made the victim machine connect to that link. After the moment he connected to that link, the attacking machine uploaded the exploitable type of jar file which ran on the browser. After it ran on the browser, it created a session from the attacker machine to the victim machine. And then using different session type of oriented commands, I could maybe take a screenshot of the machine, I can upload data, I can download data. There's no ends to what you can do. After you're done whatever work you want to do with a victim machine, you can actually clear your tracks by running different sort of clearing track type of commands over there. Anytime you want to move back, you can always type the back command to move back over there. Finally, if you want to quit the entire console, you can just type the quit or the exit type of command. In this next part of this practical, we'll be looking at doing web server footprinting using two tools, that is, we'll be using IDserve and HTTP recon. For this part, you require to have a web server running. I'm having a local web server that is being running in my exam software. First thing we'll be looking at is the HTTP recon software. When I run the HTTP recon software, it asks me to specify a target and I need to specify the port number of it. If, for example, if I found out that there's a port number 80 or 8080 that is running on a specific machine, after I've done an nmap scan, I can find out more information using my HTTP recon tool over there. The web server is running on port 192.168.0.24, and this is the port number 80. After I hit the URL and I select the appropriate port number, I can even select HTTPS over here. After I specify the URL and the appropriate port number and I click on analyze, it will start it'll connect to that machine and start fingerprinting that machine over there. And if I see over here in the get existing, it tells me that it gives me information about it. For example, I can see that it is running Apache 2.4.9. It is running on Windows. I also know it is running using OpenSSL, that is 0.9, and it is using PHP 5.4.27. If I look down over here in the match list, I can see maybe what a different sort of ratio the match has been done. Like for example, there are on 100% match for 2.2.3. This was an old version of H3 recon, so 2.2.3 was the highest it could detect that time. If I alternate between the different tabs, I can see what is the long request that is going to be looking like. If there is a non-existing or a not found, what will be the response type? That is HTTP 1.1404. Wrong protocol, what is the existing head, what are different options type of thing for it. If I go to configuration, I can edit different settings for it. I can specify timeout, I can specify the tests that need to be tests that will be done when the analyze button is hit. I can look at different resources as well. If I go into reporting, I can generate a specific report, and let's say I'll generate a report in the form of an HTML file. When I click on save, it'll ask me where do I want to save the report. So when the report gets saved and it opens, I can see the entire summary of it. I can see what is the different sort of response headers sent by the server. So I've been able to find out that the server machine is running Apache, it is running Windows 32-bit, and it is also running OpenSSL with PHP 5.4.27. When I use IDserve is going to be performing the same thing. When I open IDserve, background, I will give me basic background information about IDserve, and I need to paste or copy the URL, which is 192.168.0.24. The moment I hit on the query the server button, it starts querying the server. I know that the query location is 024/examp. This is the page that was loading over there. I know that it is having a content of HTML. If I scroll a bit up, I can see that it is using PHP 5.4.27. It is using Apache 2.4.9. It is using OpenSSL 0.9.8, and it is using PHP 5.4.27. I can see what is the date. Because I've denied access to the web server from being accessed over a network, hence it gave me a 302 type of message over there. I can see the domain name, the machine's IP address is .24. I can see what is the domain name is virtual for that machine over there. This is the machine name. It is connecting on port number 80 over there. And down I can see it is giving me the entire extracted line of text that is using Apache 32-bit, OpenSSL, and PHP 5.27.